One more best of 3 to go today, and it is going to be a big one between Fnatic trying to take on Liquid. I say take on, of course this is Fnatic not operating at full capacity. We've touched on that many a time, and we'll try and avoid that subject as best we can. Of course, without Olaf Meister, I think we've beaten that dead horse, and we'll try and avoid that coming
Come on,
into
he's just injured, Alex, for Christ's sake.
What did I say? Oh. It's not dead. I was sitting there like,
took him a minute.
Okay, cogs turning. Yep, I'm there. So, let's just pretend Olaf is a non-talking point, and instead, I'd like to address a couple of other things. Primarily, I mean, we were just talking about it off air. This is a bit of a matchup, a historical matchup. They've met recently in the major.
Yeah, it's been the big upset, right? Liquid beating Fnatic on Dust 2 in a best of 1 on overtime as well. Simple having a great game. Obviously, Simple isn't in the lineup anymore,
sure.
but nonetheless, I don't think we're going to see Dust 2. Fnatic is one of those teams that once they have a bad performance on a map, especially in a big tournament, that's just the map that they decide not to play anymore. So even with a stand-in, I feel that's going to be their go-to ban. And unfortunately for them, Liquid doesn't play Inferno, so it's going to be interesting to see what Fnatic goes for as their pick in this best of 3.
Do you know what's kind of crazy to me is that when I was hosting Des, say 6 months ago, maybe even a little bit later than that, JW would be in the same category as Guardian is now, where we'd be constantly saying he's a huge factor, he's a man that has to step up. However, the main man, you can see him there on your screens, just it hasn't quite been there, Blue. It hasn't quite been as present as the JW of old. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. He's been falling off a little bit, and it's mainly coming to some of the other guys to pick things up. Yesterday, specifically, we saw, I mean, there was definitely still some good stuff from JW yesterday, but I think Crims was the main factor in driving Fnatic to their victory over Cloud9 in their match yesterday. Unfortunately, things falling off a little bit versus NIP, but now coming down here, they do have another match versus a North American team, and it's going to be in a best of 3 environment. So we do get to see a lot of that star power come back into the mix over a very long period of time once again.
Yeah, another face, of course, Vuggo. The announcement was made that he has taken that leadership role, all the weight off of Flush's shoulders. How do you feel that's influenced them? Not only if they're playing without their star player, we talked about the power of communication, playing with someone for a long time. Now Vuggo has that voice. He's the primary voice in that leadership role.
Yeah, well, I suppose the main reasoning is for Flasha to have more liberty while he plays, so he can focus more on his game, because they lost firepower once they lost Olaf, so they want to have their core players be focused on the game itself as much as possible, and probably Vuggo isn't changing that much. It's it's not that Fnatic has a whole different playstyle now, it's just that he is the one now making the call, so Flasha can be more focused on his individual play.
That makes an awful lot of sense. Just trying to find that firepower.
Yeah, that's my job, Alex.
He's good
that's
at it.
why
He's
I'm
good
here.
at this lad.
I am the desk.
Yes, you are.
You are the desk.
Did you see the announcement?
Yeah. He is literally the desk.
Yanko is the desk, and I'm going to do my best to try and understand these vetoes, because they are, of course, going to be up on your screens at any moment now. Coming into a best of 3, you touched on it. They've surprised on Dust 2. We're expecting not to see it, and wham bam, first veto. No surprises for Liquid this time. Yeah,
this is pretty straightforward when it comes to vetoes. When it goes to picks, Cache is one of the strongest maps besides Dust 2 for Liquid. That and Cobble probably are the 2 best maps for them. And Fnatic went with Mirage, which is, I guess they picked this because it's not one of the best maps for Liquid, because before they started banning Dust 2, Fnatic was banning Mirage, so that's the map they didn't want to play. So this is what Fnatic used to do in the Pronax era as well, because they had such a deep map pool. They would do the veto according to their opponent's weaknesses, right? If it's not the best map for them, but it's also they know that it's a weak map for their opponents, they will go for it because they knew they were confident they could take that team on that map. And we see that the decider is Overpass, which pretty much makes sense with the last 2 vetoes.
Okay, so I mean, with that map pool seen, you guys have about 40 seconds to tell me your predictions for that first map. Do you think, Cache, Liquid have that opportunity to do what they did on Dust 2 over at the Major?
I think they have, and they have to win Cache, I think, if they are to win this best of 3. I don't see them having a big chance to win Mirage against Fnatic, simply because they don't play it that often, and Fnatic has played it before. It was one of their best maps. But in the end, it's going to come down to Fnatic, right? If they show up, if the core players play really well, this should be a 2-0 for Fnatic.
That is a big if, though, right, Blue?
Yeah, absolutely, and I think on Liquid's side of this too, there is also a question as to if the players are going to keep themselves consistent from matchup to matchup. The big players for me is going to be Adren keeping on, because now he's come in, wasn't really doing so hot back at Austin, but in that last set rather, he was doing admirably well. A couple mistakes here and there, as you mentioned, the desk last time, but still showing up quite nicely. So if he brings that in again too, we could still see a pretty strong Liquid.
And Nitro on Cache.
Yeah,
it used to be his playground, so
Yeah, I remember just instances of him just walking through middle.
Yeah.
But it's time for game. As well, I say that Dennis has definitely just walked past our desk. So either way, it is time for the game and time to meet your casters. So let's get into it.
But Alex, because he's gone to the toilet, now you have time for what? What do you do when you go to the toilet?
When you go to the toilet, right, like Dennis, and you're sitting there away from game, but you want to know the score. He's sitting there like, God, what are the stats, man? He can find out because he can use an app called the Score Esports application. Yanko just set me up. And I'm going to pop it in. Nice stuff, though. Do be sure to check it out on your smartphone, available on iOS and Google Play. And while you're doing that, we're going to prepare ourselves for another best of 3. It should be a big one. It seems like the desk thinks it's going to involve around a lot of individuals and seeing who delivers when it matters. Over 500,000 on the line, and it comes down to this.
Another match, another decider, another team going home, and another through to London. It is Fnatic, who got beat by NIP yesterday in the upper bracket, and Liquid, who also got beat by NIP in one of the biggest chokes we've seen since the major, also Liquid, go figure, and beat Cloud9 to be in this game this morning. So they've played. This will be their second match today, but also Fnatic without Olaf has been a bit of a struggle compared to what we're used to.
Absolutely. I'm yet to actually cast this team without Olaf yet, so I'm very interested to see how it's going to operate. Going into Cash first as well, that's normally Olaf's playground. This is the one he actually opens up on. I remember one of the most memorable performances, Gfinity Spring Masters, when he went to 20 for 0. He's done that time and time again on this map, and this is why I'm not kind of feeling the clean cut 2-0. I'm not thinking it's going to be that straight away. I feel like Liquid definitely could operate on this one. Obviously, Cash, one of their stronger maps. We've seen them taking down some big scalps on this before. Obviously, one comes to mind. Obviously, didn't beat Luminosity, but they had that great game with them against some eight. And then they felt like they got so close to taking them down and got them right to the wire. But we'll see how this one goes down. Obviously, Liquid famed for the fast mid attacks and actually boosting up and taking over with great players like Nitro, ripping heads towards that area. So this could be a very interesting game, I think. I don't think it's going to be a 2-0 Fnatic by any measure.
I don't think so either. I mean, this is the thing. Liquid has looked... Major Liquid and Liquid now are two very different teams. We know that. One of the issues that I have with it is bringing back a Dren. You would think that they would implement him into the format by which worked at the Major, because that was the best CSGO he's ever played.
Sure.
And then Kusta would just resume as simple and take that role and everything would be normal. Granted, okay, Kusta and Simple, very different players and how much risks they take and how much, I guess, sort of style and aggression they play with, but you'd think that would be at least the starting blocks. No, it's back to previous Liquid. It's back to a Dren leading, and Kusa's sure opping, but it's the old rules again. So I have my doubts, and I put a lot of pressure onto a Dren in this situation. That said, you're right. With Wenton coming in, we always talked about Fnatic being this sort of team with all the skilled players. So you would think that if you remove, I know your arguments to this, yes, it changes everything. It does, but you'd think if you removed one, there would still be 4 others who could get the numbers done.
Yeah, we're just trying to build some cool storylines here. I feel like the Liquid are going to give them a very good game. Ultimately, do think Fnatic will win overall, but I still think Liquid can post some decent numbers here and potentially get them right down to the wire. Obviously, that game against NIP, you feel like that was so crushing for them as well. A 14-2 lead, and ultimately losing it overtime. That's it was horrible to watch, Matt. It was disastrous for them.
It really was, especially when they get map point again in overtime.
It takes a lot to bounce back from that. They did manage to do it 2-0 versus Cloud9. Did go to overtime in that as well, but managed to keep themselves strong and looking to get themselves to London here in this game. Difficult game going up against it. Fnatic, one of the world's best teams here, but a weakened side for sure. So we'll see how Cash goes down. They move on to Mirage as well. That's a massive problem for them. I feel like Mirage is probably going to go in favour of Fnatic. So third map, that's where it's going to get interesting. I think Overpass though, that's a serious problem. I have to agree with Yanka here. The 2-0 for Liquid is probably required for them to win the series. It's going to be Cash. It's going to set the mood for sure. And we'll see how that one can go down. Adren, for me, he's been one of the players that since we have got this changed lineup going into this one, he hasn't been performing to the top level. And that major for him was such a resurgence to his form in terms of the kind of play we'd never really seen from him before. I guess that's when the pressure's been released from him. Now he's back in the leader role and back onto the secondary role. It feels like
I had my doubts with it going back to this. I mean, they made changes strictly to get away from this, and then they go right back to it.
What's the logic behind that, though? I'm trying to work out, is it just because of necessity? They have no one else to go to?
The only thing that I can think of is that perhaps without Simple, without that crazy aggression that sometimes sure haunts you, but also sometimes gets you crazy openings in rounds that you wouldn't otherwise get, maybe they felt like Kusta was such a different player that it made more sense to be structured as they used to be, that Adren had to go for the in-game leading, that it was just better for Hiko to go back to the free lurk role. I'm not 100% sure. That's the only thing I can think of, because that's the only difference in the equation, really.
Because obviously he's comfortable doing the role, but it does affect his fragging capabilities. And I've always said, if you're the kind of in-game leader that does get heavily affected from that, it possibly isn't the role for you. It feels like it's something you probably shouldn't be doing if you can't actually do both at the same time. If you can't frag and call, it feels like you're almost removing one of your players from the server at that point. It seems since he's taken over this role, when he already has been stifled in terms of the way he can actually frag, it's nothing like the ability we saw at the major. So I'm kind of interested to see why they would make that decision. Obviously, Hiko's probably a player that could do both, but I guess he's another player you want to have firing on all cylinders, considering what he can do, especially on a map like Cash as well. One of the best clutches in the game, especially in North America.
Yep.
We'll see if he can actually deliver performances today.
And one of the things to watch for is if they go back to the old setups as well, the old defaults, because what they used to do with Fugly on the team is Fugly would lurk the B site, Hiko would lurk A behind the door, and they would swing the other three based on where the picks happened or what information they could get. Obviously, it's been a while since Fugly's been on this team, but effectively he's the one that's replaced by Kusta. And if you're going to put a Dren back on the rifle, then who's that second lurker? Is it going to be Nitro? Because Nitro's wanted to do that in the past. It's a role that even after his iBuyPower performance at ESEA LAN almost 18, 19 months ago, that he said he wanted to do. He's, in my opinion, much better on the entry frag. I think he's a natural entry fragger, but if it goes to him, then it puts a lot of pressure onto Kusta on that AWPT side, and also means the Liege has to be first one in. He's normally better at getting trade kills, so there are some questions about it, especially, and you'll see it in the setup on Cash immediately, what they want to do. I want to touch quickly, though, you said if it goes to Overpass. I actually think Overpass is still reasonable for Liquid.
Yep.
Their B site hold is actually on a tier 1 level anywhere in the world, not just North America.
Yeah.
Again, we'll see if there's issues since they've kind of messed around so much lately, but
Looks
it's
like we are
reasonable.
Getting into it, Matt. It's got to be Cash to kick things off. Liquid versus Fnatic. Will be Liquid on the CT side, Fnatic obviously on the Ts. And Dennis is back in his chair now as well, so that's a good start. Does definitely help. And there's going to be guys coming in now. Flusher with PT50 and Smoke. And the rest of his teammates are going for the armors and the decoys. Just JW gets by him. Yeah, there it is. And like I said, most teams do favour going into the B site here. It can be just normally the hold the B storage, wait for any aggression from the CTs, then bundle into the side, looking like exactly what will come in. Winton leading the way here. Going to be getting up towards the corner. One player distracting towards mid. The exchanges are coming in. They actually managed to land a headshot towards the Dren as well, and they're making the move to the bomb site.
The Dren going to join in on this B defense, playing from heaven. Interesting that they're playing a passive B. We often talk about the retake onto A rather instead, but it is going to be bomb down. Hiko may have gotten that first kill, but with the bomb down, still a decent chance for Fnatic. Flusha falling in middle, though. That's one prong out of the approach of holding off the rotations. That's gone, and Fnatic's playing a very, I guess, defensive setup in the fact that they're all the way out in B tunnels. They are doing battle as well with Nitro. That's going to pull a lot more people away from the site and actually give them a chance to get on top of it, but Crims is going to save the day, taking down Kusta. As well as a kill just before means that getting toward that bomb is a huge task alone, and now it's Nitro who was distracted the entire time and has a large job to do.
Absolutely. It was a 5-on-3, and actually somehow Fnatic have won this round. It's going to come down to the final player in the form of Nitro, trying to do what he can here. The bomb is too far gone. Does manage to get the final kill on towards Crims, but that's going to be it. That's all he'll get for this. And it does go off in favour of Fnatic there. So it was Liquid opening up the fragging and actually had a massive man advantage, and we're being a little bit disciplined, trying to make sure they had the rotations coming in and make sure they had all 5 players come in. But Fnatic, very strong individual plays there, good crossfires with the remaining 3 players, and managed to live strong there as we go into round number 2. So we'll see what kind of buy comes in from Liquid here. And it looks like semi-force buy. They got to one player, okay, Kusta, obviously the AWPer, and the rest of the players will be in Scouts, CZs, graded armor as well. And it's going to be Fnatic here, just holding up into a default mentality. Crims holding way back in towards T-Spawn. And seeing if there is any pushes from the CTs at this point. But they're going to be holding back here. Going to be the stack towards the A site. Kusta and Nitro just seeing if they can get anything from this towards the A main entrance. At this point, it's just trying to gather information. You can see they have got a couple of Mac 10s here on Flusher and Wenton. Wait up to probably about the 45-second mark. Smoke off. And then send those guys in first to see if they can find any stacks here on the bomb sites.
Well, he's refacing as well with this scout late boost coming in from Fnatic. A minute left to play in the round. Decent utility still for them as well with 3 smokes and 2 Molotovs. Could easily clear out the A site, but Obviously electing to try and get some pressure onto mid first. Double smoke, so there's 2 of the 3 out to try and get toward that vent position at Adren. Knowing there's a gap on the left, is trying to cover it off. Smart actually to walk inside of the smoke, because when he's blinded up, he's easily spotted, but they've sensed him. They've spotted him. A fragmented arm perhaps sticking through. We didn't quite see it from their perspective, but either way, something gave it away.
Smart play so far from Fnatic. Crisscross smokes towards middle. They have got 30 seconds here, so they need to start moving. Haven't chosen a bomb site to get into. Looks like it will be towards A. On that highway they go. Krims with a lovely shot towards the leash there. It's going to be Booster and Nitro now is getting wrecked on the side. The boost not really working out for them. It was a Desert Eagle that had to step up, and it's going to be the bomb site completely open now and leaving Hiko in a impossible situation. Has managed to pick up a kill on towards JW with the UMP as well, so he gets to pick up that weapon and just looking for another frag. He actually gets it as well. Lovely shot towards Krims, but that's all they'll get. And it goes 2-0 in favour of Fnatic. So quite a patient hold there from the Swedes. Smokes towards middle, found that first pick, segregated one of the CTs that was waiting for them as well, and then going out towards highway, sticking as a unit, making sure they are fragging effectively. And it's going to be Liquid now onto pretty much a full eco. Can't really justify much more than maybe a PT50, that's about it. 5-7 on Hiko, he gets a grenade as well. That's purely off the basis of those 2 frags he got. And now they'll be going for the full B stack here, so this could be interesting considering that's where Fnatic will be heading towards. They have spotted a player though, so might slow things down.
Double cross nade in toward that Checkers position. New forklift is live on this map, by the way, Henry.
Oh, yes.
Something to talk about. We'll make note of it when we do see it on the A site, but much better hitboxes around it, a little bit easier to see through. Hitboxes on that were always an issue for me. It was in some ways worse than the truck on Inferno, and I say was worse because, yes, Inferno's in this pool, but it's soon to be fixed, and I wouldn't be surprised that truck's one of the things they fixed. Don't quote me on it, but yeah, there it is. It looks much cleaner. They bought a new one. It must have been on sale.
Upgraded it. It was always a little bit of an issue. It got clipped a lot, and you couldn't really. It wasn't consistent when you were firing bullets. So you weren't sure whether you actually get to kill someone. So I'm interested to see how the actual updates. I obviously haven't played it yet, but I saw some other interesting screenshots coming out. They actually removed the entire roof of it. So that it's kind of an interesting idea. That obviously removed the actual boost opportunity of going up and having that really tight angle above the forklift. But anyway, Fnatic bomb goes down, and they have found that one kill on towards the lead. It's not really much that the CTs can do in this situation. This could be holding back. Nitro looking like he's about to drop as he goes down to 12 HP. And there it is. Kill comes in with that match. Just farming cash here. Fnatic finding every kill in their way. 2 remain now. Kusto and Hiko. And it looks like it'll be a clean sweep here for Fnatic. Hunting the final 2 CTs. And so we'll get all 5 here. There it is. 3-0. Looking very strong here. Tons of cash. And Kusto can get the AWP here, but it's going to be limited buys for the rest of his teammates. Going to be body armor. And no kits purchased so far. Kusto presumably going to get it the AWP. You'd assume. Yet to buy yet. Let's see what he does. There it is. So it's a very weak buy from the CTs considering. They've got 4 smokes, no kits, no incendiaries, a couple of flashbangs, that's about it. So this is a chance for Fnatic just to do something very simple, very fast and overwhelm them with their lack of utility. They'll be going towards B once again. Actually all 5 players committed towards the B storage here. So this could be doing a contact play. As soon as they're spotted, that's when they swarm the bomb site. This could be a Adren waiting towards Checkers and Hiko joining him up as well.
I've actually just flown over to it. Because we're playing the old patch with Inferno in, we don't have the new forklift. I do see the roof still on it. I assume because it went live, but we still have the old one. So there you go. We'll have to wait until another day, Henry.
Oh, there we go then. It's going to be Liquid Adren. He's been spotted toward that vent area. It goes down to 48 as well. So Fnatic, after sending all 5 players towards that side of the map, decides to go back in towards the default here. Looking for the first pick. Krims spotting towards middle. It's going to be a Liege on there. Short box, seeing if he can take him down. Comes going for the face now. Decent flashbang comes in. Had an opportunity that does narrowly miss out on the shot, but does a little bit of damage. Takes him down to 48 HP as well. And we hit the 50-second mark. So let's see what the play comes in. We have got Dennis close towards that checker room as well, so he'll be flashing in and maybe pushing through the smoke.
A very passive setup on this A side as well, but out of the action inside of middle, it's a Adren that will go down first. Big problems now as the bomb starts to work into that B site. Good shot from Kusta onto Ventim, but there it is. JW and Krims responding immediately. And it leaves just Hiko and Kusta. AWP still in play though, and Hiko gets the shot on Dennis. There's no smoke out because there's no smoke left toward this cross position, and Kusta inside the site. They can actually work this, but smartly Fnatic's figured it out.
This is perfect for them now, and they knew Kusta was there, and they spotted Hiko towards the back of the side as well. Called it, and the bomb's going to make its way towards the A site. 10 seconds remaining, that's absolutely fine. It will be planted nice and open as well. So this round is almost guaranteed. The other 2 players just need to contain them at this point. Don't allow them to exit. You can see JW towards the connector area there as well. And we still have Krims 7 HP, we're just trying to stay alive as long as possible. CTs without kits have no footing in this whatsoever. And for me, Liquid probably should have done something a little bit more aggressive, try to make that orb work in terms of getting that first pick. They were up against it in terms of the buy, needed to find something here just to make the round a little bit more possible. That they held back and allowed Fnatic to work those picks, and just the lack of utility makes it so difficult for them. So now trying to save these 2 weapons, but Fnatic, they don't want to let that happen. They want to take them down. Kusta and Hiko both in the same area. It's going to be a face from Hiko, and he gets 2 kills here, so they will be able to stay alive, you'd assume, as it's going to be Flusher all the way towards T-spawn. So decent hold, but ultimately Fnatic winning the round. They have to take that AWP into the next round. We'll see what they can do with it. And you can see the money heavily affected now. But this is the problem now. It's kind of tempting when you have 2 rifles left over to maybe force into it. You get some shotguns, a FAMAS, and maybe an upgraded pistol, and see what you can do. I don't think they'll be going for that this time. They want to try and make sure they don't get into that rut of the economy. Let's see what Kusta can bring to the party, as he has got the AWP. I assume he'll go towards B by himself and try and get the first pick towards that storage area. But it looks like Fnatic will be going fast towards mid, boosting up, and going to be overwhelming this area.
2 men to drop. Crims. JW is boosted as well. Venton's going to go out toward blue. A squeaky door. Decent stack inside of the A site for Team Liquid, but just with the 2 weapons saved, we'll see if they can try and make something out of this. It's a desperate situation for them to be in. Venton will find Nitro immediately. Over toward that forklift position. He comes out pretty weak, though, down to just 1 HP after all the damage is done, so he can't really get aggressive and try and figure out any more information.
Look at JW, though. He's actually managed to get towards the highway, but he gets taken down. That's a great shot from Alige. Nice work with the P250. I thought that was the round over at that stage.
And better still, that's a gun picked up, thankfully, as well, because Hiko's just dropped, which means they now have rifles onto everyone else, because Adren's picked that second M4 that Hiko had back up. And he's going to try and utilize it, but he does get smoked off. That's going to give up the default plant now for Flusha. Crims hasn't committed to the site either. He can stay in toward A main. Dennis and Quad, they go for the boost. I think they are going to. I think Flush is up right now. He's already peeking toward highway, and this is so smart because they know that's the way that they exited the site. That's where they're going to be. And Dennis, he's hit 2 shots perfectly. A good read, right time to do the boost, and Kusta's going to have to bail out again with this AWP.
Yeah, it was a nice attempt there from Liquid. Alige making things happen with that P250. Once he picked up a rifle, did boost their chances significantly, but it's Dennis with that boost. Lovely job from him. 2 stellar headshots, and now Kusta in towards CT spawn. You assume that Dennis will be checking this one. Doesn't actually commit to going towards CT spawn, so looks like Kusta will save the orb once again. And as I said, the CT didn't force into this, so we'll be able to definitely utilize that orb in the next round and have a decent buy as well. It's going to be 5-0 though in favor of Fnatic. Things not out of control just yet. You can see there's the cash on your screen right now. Tons of money. And we'll see how Team Liquid approach this one. They haven't really done anything too aggressive, haven't been dynamic, haven't been mixing it up. But this is good though. Adren's coming in with that secondary orb, so that adds a string to their bow. As we go into round number 6, let's see what they decide to do. I'm keen to see what Adren has up his sleeve. Might be heading towards B this time, so maybe Kusta doing something a little bit more aggressive. Actually just going to be in a very passive hold here, so we're going to allow the A site to be completely open. Just Kusta AWPing towards that area and focusing most of their efforts towards middle with the 3 rifles. And Adren, he's got his work cut out for him. 4 players from Fnatic edging in.
Oh, that shot. He just spotted up the arm late. He goes for the reface. That's bold. It works. He's still locked in this checkered position, though. And they're inside of the site, smoked off, won't have vision. He does have Hiko to back him up, though, if they try and cross in too quickly. But they're going to commit. They want the bomb site instead, because Crims has the bomb, and he's already on the platform. More importantly as well, look at Dennis. Pushed all the way through toward Tree. He's going to cut them off on rotation so easily.
So look at these smokes though coming in. They've had such a hard time trying to get back into the side, but they have found a couple of kills here. It's going to be a 3-on-3 now. They have got 1 kill on the form of Hiko as well, but he just drops, and Dennis doing so much damage here. They're applying so much pressure through the wall bangs, but they do find the drop on towards Flusher, so still a possible chance here. The CTs haven't recovered the kits, and these are actually very fast. Grim's holding the side strong, not facing and forcing Nitro to actually come onto the bomb site. Now Adren has to save in this situation. Does found 1 kill though, and somehow makes this work.
That's impressive. Well done, Adren. 4 kills.
I thought he was out of it.
I figured there was absolutely no chance once they had the site completely locked out. I mean, and more importantly, Dennis pushing through to try and cut off the CT spawn. This is so smart. 1, 2, catches them, and just enough time. I mean, this is Adren giving them a massive chance to try and start something, but again, it is a reset, and he's the only one that survives. So a desperate situation where they're, okay, Kusta's going to go double up. I was going to say not have any kits aside from 2 on second one on Kusta.
You saw Dennis knew all he had to do was stay alive to win the round at that point. He was a little bit apprehensive, wanted to see if the refract could come straight away, and then he made his mind not to fall back, and it just a little bit too late, and Adren keeps the dream alive here as we go into round number 7. As I said, there is a buy coming in. It's not as bad as we'd have thought, but definite reset potential. It could be in a double eco if they were to lose this round, so they need to be very careful. JW now on towards the AWP. He will be facing towards Highway. I think he just about spotted a helmet. There it is, but doesn't land the shot this time, so they are really aware where the AWP is this time. As you can assume, Fnatic will be slowing things down now. Wenton just keeping his crosshair locked towards the forklift here. A little bit of wall bang going on.
Kusta facing this doorway, knows it's open. Dare cross, but that'll jump it when he does.
It's a very similar setup to last round, so they're more than happy to leave the A site open here. They want to focus their efforts towards middle and just leave Kusta with some backup from Elise towards Highway as well, but if the smokes do come in, that's where things get problematic. As we are at the 45-second mark here, Kusta should be able to land this shot. He's got the advantage in terms of the way he can peek with that smoke, takes him out of the equation, has to focus towards A main now.
Kusta's gonna hold this. Gun shows, has the lineup. It's actually the second player he gets. It's dead. What a no-scope! Vente goes down, but it's Flusha responding. Nitro may have found one immediately after, but they've given up so much space that the bomb's gonna go down inevitably. And even though Adren wants to try and get a Molotov in position to deny it, it's late.
Yeah, such a big round here. Team Liquid can't afford to drop this one. So 2-on-2. Looking at that pick, it's going to be Adren with the AWP towards CT spawn right now, seeing if anyone will face and Flusha just towards that quad area. They have got a couple of flashbangs, that's about it, but the bomb's ticking away now.
Nitro in around the forklift. Can also get flashed in from his teammate, but gets caught out by Flusha because the timing's off, and that gives him the chance from the quad position. He did hit him down to 15 HP. Still at a second task beyond that, but it does go to Fnatic, and now it is the reset against Liquid. This is big. This is a huge issue.
Yeah, so they've gone from maximum loss bonus there with the first 5-0 coming in. They win a round, and then after losing that next one, you only get $1,400. That means an automatic double eco coming in for Liquid here. They can't really justify anything going to this round. They've forced sports. Oh, it's a little bit. So they've gone for CZs, Deagles, and the 3 players fully investing. Like I said, they're going to be double eco anyway, so they might as well try and do something with this. And it's going to be a fast play with that Mach 10 from Flusha. As I said that, though, he decides not to opt in, and will be staying a little bit more passive. I guess he was by himself, didn't want to throw away that kill because that's where the CTs have been stacking themselves. And once again, they have got 3 players towards that area, 3 towards Highway, so interesting to see where they go with this one. Make it 4 now. Spotted the players now, so the stack looking cool. They're going to make the rails towards the site. Dennis with a huge advantage with his rifle, just mowing them down. And that's going to be the round over at this stage, and Crims finds the kill towards Nitro. Just to leave now, he's got the Mach 10, and his position given away as well. I'm assuming he's going to die in the next few seconds. Dennis wants blood, and he gets it. 7-1. And there's another eco, of course, coming in for Liquid here. Adren's still with decent money, though. He's got $5,600. So the next round when they do buy, definitely can get the AWP, a nice healthy one. Have all the armors and grenades he will require.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a desperate situation for Liquid to be in on this first map. Again, like Yanko said, if they wanted any chance, it was here and now to get it done in 2 before they go to overpass. But they need to even show up. Another stack situation, another gamble from Liquid. They're going to try and push through these B tunnels, catch off Crims, who's going to go passive. He can hear them coming. Okay. They make contact, though. Good shot from Adren. That's 1 down. AK is going to be grabbed as well. JW's boosted up. They're far away from this now. They know there's a lot of activity on B. It's very likely that A is going to be open, but it is something to start with for Liquid. As Venton once more is going to be the one to open the door. Dennis will lead the charge in as well. Molotovs have already cleared out quad as well as fork. It's pretty straightforward on where they need to look once they arrive, and, well, Dennis is doing exactly that.
Dennis is looking incredibly sharp right now. 2 more headshots for him. And it did start off pretty successful there, Adren getting the first kill, but like he said, as soon as they spotted those 2 players towards B storage, the call comes in for Fnatic, rush towards A, getting as quickly as you can. They were still pretty conscious there could be some city presence with a double Molotov towards quad and towards fork as well, so making sure they're eradicating all possible risks. But still, only 1 casualty so far for Fnatic, just going to be a Liege now. He's got the AK in hand and just cowering in the B side. It looks like he will survive though as the bomb is ticking away. But it's going to be A1. Liquid buying into the next round. I assume the double AWP setup will come out once more. Like I said, they need to start being a little bit more dynamic. Take some risks here. Try and get the first picks, as so far they're not winning the one-on-one duels. Let's see what their approach is, as Elige does save the AK here. And this lead now getting a little bit out of control. Kusa and Adren definitely enough to buy. There's the replay on your screen right now of the Dennis headshots. And here comes the single AWP setup actually, so they will be changing the methodology slightly. One kit again. This has been a problem in terms of these clutch situations, having to pick up that kit in the high pressure moments, but round number 10 comes in. It's more of a default hold once again, and actually 3 players. There we go. The first pick is exactly what I'm talking about. Try and get the man advantage, something to work with it. It's actually a collateral shot as well, and there it is. Hiko finds the second kill. So Kusta going aggressive towards that B storage area, kills one, and chest shots the other through him. And now they have a 5-on-3. Surely this is the one now.
JW is looking for the last shot onto Hiko. One and done with this AWP. He needs to find a way back into it. He knows he's out there somewhere. That gap on the smoke may haunt Hiko as well, but he does actually play into it. He's going to get aggressive on this. Dennis now tagged up as well. This is actually finally Liquid stabilizing things, not getting overcommitted, and thankfully they flashed Hiko back in once that flash went away, because that's exactly the kind of opening that Fnatic is known to claw back from. Getting one kill and then shifting the round so quickly before you can react to it. So
Exactly.
very smart that Liquid just stay passive in this situation. Good peek this time from Kusta. Dennis goes down, flashed in from his teammate, and Venton's going to get close. He's actually got 2, but it's a Liege, thankfully rotating over also in time.
Problem is, though, it's JW and time to play with coming towards Highway. If he just finds one kill here, it becomes very problematic for Liquid. They need to be making sure they don't give anything away. So far, it's a decent setup from them. One player towards Connector, one is CD Spawn, and one is guarding the bomb on the site as well. So surely they can take this down. Hiko just spotting towards Highway, and I think he has an inkling as to what might be going on, but he does slip by. This could be interesting now.
He gets caught by a Dren, though.
Okay. So that's exactly what we're talking about. Kusta needed to take the risk. He needed to be a little bit more aggressive. He couldn't allow Fnatic to do their full default, do the smokes, and then allow the massive firepower they have available within that squad to just do the business, and they make their way towards the bomb site. So they get the first 2 kills, and Hiko holding strong towards that toxic area as well, funneling the terrorists towards A, and Kusta seems to be having a very strong game. Since when he has the AWP, that's when he's finding frags, so they need to keep that weapon on him, and the full rifle setup seems to be working more effectively now.
JW.
You can see Kusta there was bunny hopping towards A main. Wanted to go for that pick again, but he is flashed off and will be falling back. So he had the same idea. Unfortunately, he was shut down.
Really early smokes from Fnatic out toward Highway as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if Venton goes quickly on this, if they try and go for the entry. The problem is the counter smoke, the default smoke out on A main slows down the 2 players that want to set the crossfire toward quad position. But it is a little bit of utility already spent from Fnatic's side, and they're going to get the trade onto JW as a Dren follows it up. That's at middle. Krim still has this position to work with, but he's segregated from his teammates at this point.
Oh, Kusta and his crosshair on flush for 3 seconds there.
It's going to be a flash, not a Molotov. They don't have any, but it's good enough because Venton goes in and Kusta's low. Dennis takes Nitro. Sight given up again, and a Dren. It's just he and Hiko. He's the only one close as well. Hiko's still rotating, and Krims is waiting for this. He's going to contact him as soon as he crosses over Z connector. That's pretty much going to give him the round. This has to be a save.
Yeah, considering it's the same situation once again, winning 1 round and losing the subsequent. It's another double eco. They need to save these rifles just to even have a chance going into the next round. So Hiko and a Dren, but Fnatic know how valuable these rifles are to Liquid, so they're going to be hunting them down. Krim's holding the vents area as well, but they're both going to be holding up towards upper here, and surely Krims is going to face and try, even if he gets 1 for 1, that's going to be enough to give away the position to go for the second. There it is. Hiko does get the information. He knows they're on the hunt now, but he does drop, and now Adren stuck in a very difficult situation indeed. Desperately trying to hold on to an AK. The thing is, the money's so strong for Fnatic right now, they can afford to throw some weapons away and try and take the risk. But Adren will survive, and you can see their money, how it's affected going into round number 12. 2K and 2 players, and Adren in a similar situation as well, but he has got the AK-47. 9-2. And another Eco coming in. So you can assume double figures for Fnatic here. Feels like this one is spiraling out of control now. Can't really get any decent footing in. After I have one really successful round that's getting locked down by Fnatic, just good fundamentals, is working the defaults and executing efficiently. It's always very basic.
Kusta's going to go again here, though, and try and get something going, but it's with the pistol, not an AWP. Significant difference. And no utility to put him in that position. He basically just walked into his own death as Flusha stares him down the middle. Covered off, JW. Elige also walking out. Not really with much of a plan, to be honest. Liquid looking quite lost in most situations so far in this game. Dennis as well just holding the angle, waiting for another player to walk to his death. It's Eco that will peek out and try and get something done. Nitro finally does land one shot, but it's a consolation prize, I dare say, at this point in time, because Crim's closing him will leave just a Dren.
Yep, he's the player who saved the 8K, and he gets his head blown off by Crims as well. 10-2, and this is Fnatic firing on all cylinders right now, looking incredibly strong across the board. Everyone contributing, especially Dennis. He's on 15 for 7 right now. Like I said, the thing with Fnatic as well, that is so good at the defaults and his basic CS play and just trading effectively and hitting their shots. Some of the world's best aimers in this lineup. Once again, this kind of mentality is very hard to shut them down. So Liquid now, another ropey buys. Kusta on the glass cannonade OBP. Adren on the AWP with no nades, no kits, and one smoke remaining after getting 5 seconds into the round. So have to do something. That's the aggressive push. Kusta once again trying to make it happen. We can see Adren trying to get boosted up here, but this is going to end in a nightmare. This might be over already as Nitro does find one kill towards Wenton. Adren, can you find this kill? He does it, so decent timing. It's still a 3-on-3.
Yeah, absolutely good boost over. Bomb down as well. They have the information. They have to rotate back over there, but 2 players stacked in middle right now from Liquid. It's giving a little bit of a chance here right now as well for Crims if he wanted to push through and wrap back around from Truck. He's waiting for the call from Flush and JW and exactly what they want to do. Better still, he's just going to hold this B site and let them rotate the long way back to it. So all he has to do is anchor this.
So much time to play it as well, and CTs have 2 flashbangs. That's it, and the hold, and a Famas and an M4. So let's see what they can do here.
Now,
Play towards middle.
Crims literally saved this round. They're just going to walk that bomb over. They don't even need to face.
Yeah.
And if anyone even dares to rotate over, if Nitro goes toward that tree position, he's already caught. He's already done.
You can see JW, he's got an inkling as well that he might be in that position. So, yeah, I think you might be absolutely right. Once the bomb goes down here, the CTs are trying to retake. I'm not really sure. They're a shot from JW. Doesn't hit it, though, but he does get the intel. Nitro trying to get towards upper, but just so limited in what they can do here.
Even smarter that they Molotov that off, because it's the only angle they couldn't really watch on the cross. And it gives them a smoke and a Molotov still on JW to play with in the post plant, making things even harder, even if they can get this down to a defusable situation. Even more problematic in that they have no kit. Good shot from JW. Late lurk through the mid as he knows that they were there. We already saw him make contact with him. He fell away and then reappeared in the least expected position. It's onto a Dren. Again, no kit. Bomb ticking. Molotovs down as well, though, because it was on JW, but Flush has got the shot regardless. Yeah,
it's like such a hard situation for the CTs, but at this point they just have to go for these rounds. Can't really afford to lose anymore, and you can see the money once again. It's just so bad. It's 11-2 down.
He did get that op as well. Right at the end, he pressed E on it.
Who was that, JW?
Yeah, the one that was in the vent.
He died,
it literally died as he was, or the round ended as he was jumping up. I wasn't sure he got it.
No, JW's got 12k regardless.
Yeah, it doesn't really matter.
They would have been fine, but there's another force. But like I said, Liquid can't afford to lose anymore. It's 11-2 on the CT half of Cash. They need to get these last 2 rounds. Going to try and do what they can. Famas and CZ. JW gets the first pick, though. He has the fast boost. Adrenaline towards events. Just can't really justify facing this. Got to be holding on for more of a defensive angle. I'm hoping someone runs into his crosshair. There it is, that initial pick, and now the CTs need to react once again. They are going to be facing towards B storage, but a lot of discipline for Fnatic right now. Not giving anything away as they have got that first kill. Dennis facing towards the bomb site. Just trying to flush out any potential lurking CT players there. Molotov towards MBK. Now they will be facing. Spotted. Surely going to be dropped here by Wenton. There it is. That's the A site open as well. Actually, we have got Nitro there with the CZ.
Yeah.
Could do something, Matt. You never know.
You might as well call it open.
No.
No disrespect to Nitro, but given the weaponry and the position.
He's got this.
All right. Look at you. You're so positive now.
Right.
But also so naive. Dennis taking down 2 as well. Gets Eco when he turns back.
How many of these rounds is he going to have with these crispy one-taps?
This is ridiculous. I mean, 12-2 now. Liquid.
What can you say about this one?
Cash is, a map as well for Liquid that usually they're quite dynamic on inside of the A site, but they're just getting absolutely overrun right now. They're not finding picks. They're not finding anything. Like you said, Kusta needed to go more aggressive. They did that 1 round. Economy hasn't favored them since. They can't really even get the LVP back up.
It's not like Liquid are playing like super bad or anything. It's just Fnatic.
Yeah, they're killing.
Just being so sick right now and just completely destroying their money every single time they have the opportunity. Now we get to round number 15. Famas, Scouts, and Deagles to try and get 12-3 here. I'm not so sure it's going to work out for them. It's going to be 13-2 by the looks of things. Going to be slowing it right down once again. And it's Liquid. They need to be on the offense, believe it or not, even though on the CT side. They need to be finding a kill here. They've got no kits once more. 1 smoke remaining, no incendiaries. Just need to get something. That's what Adren's doing right now, trying to find that first kill, but timing's just not working out in his favor. Going to be dropping back towards Checkers there. Takes a little bit of damage. That's ringing true for Elise as well. He goes down to 60 HP. Just need to get something here. Someone needing to step up.
Well, that's the hard part. No one has so far, and there's certainly not really weapons to do much with this time. In fact, One smoke as well, only for Hiko. Plays in the B site right now with Kusta boosted. 3-man stack on A. They have rotated a Dren back over, leaving mid entirely. They're relying on Kusta to be able to get the information from that mid vent, but unfortunately it's just the Deagle to do so. Quick peek, and he doesn't even realize it yet, but Fnatic is all over him. And the fact that they are behind him, waiting to go into the B site. Hiko needs to be the one to face this to get the information for him.
There they go then. It's going to be 4 players making their way towards the B sites, and Kusta hasn't shot the vent out yet. That is a problem though, because it's going to be so obvious where he's coming from as soon as he takes the first shot. Hiko with the Famas on towards the bomb site, and Kusta could actually do something with this one. And there it is, he gets that first kill, and now it's up to Hiko as he gets dropped. It's going to be Kusta now. Oh, there it is. The round's pretty much over.
And the problem was, even though Kusta distracted them and pulled the aggro back toward him inside of the vents, the smokes were out, and Hiko couldn't counter peek on top of that, so really nothing they could do. Unfortunately, he went down immediately after. 13-2, Fnatic, a very, very dominant first half on Cash, and I mean, this is rough for Liquid. This is extremely rough. No one really getting anything done again. Kusta had a few good shots here and there, but I mean, you talk about impact, you can't even argue that anyone had any on Liquid.
You've got to be positive there, man.
You're right, I'm sorry.
They can win the pistol,
yes,
and they can get back into this. No reason why they can't do the same thing right back to Fnatic.
Absolutely. I mean, it's a momentum-based game.
London is on the line.
London is on the line.
London calling.
I knew you were going there. Well, we'll find out if that's exactly what they can do when we start up in the second half. The last spot on the line in London in the playoffs, Fnatic versus Liquid in map 1 so far has been an absolute stomp. 13-2 at half in favor of Fnatic, but as you said, Henry, we need to stay positive for the pistol round.
Of course. As soon as the pistol comes in, you win that first gun round, the snowball begins. And what does the snowball turn into, Matt?
The thing that runs over the Grinch on the way to Whoville?
The avalanche.
Oh.
Yeah?
Usually a snowball doesn't start with an avalanche, is just a slide of snow.
Yeah, but you know what I mean.
Right, fair enough. No, that's good. It's good.
It snowballs into an avalanche. That's what's going to happen right here.
Snowman?
Yeah.
Could you say it turns into Olaf, the snowman?
Yeah, exactly.
Who's in this? Not in this game. He's injured.
Well, then we are into it. Pistol, desperately required from Liquid, of course. Goes without saying, but they're going to have 4 sets of armor here and a Dren with the smoke and 2 flashbangs. He'll be looking towards the A side of the map, it looks like, as Hiko is waiting by the squeaky door. I'd assume will be a smoke towards the highway. A couple of flashbangs going out, and they're trying to smother the sites, but problem is JW waiting their aggressive angle. Let's see if he can defend this one off. He'll be backed up as well by Dennis. He's had a fantastic game so far. He's currently on 18 kills.
That's pretty solid. And you said it, Chris Bane all the way throughout. Speaking of the Chris Dame, it's 2 more to take down Hiko and Kusta. JW follows up. Although Elige gets 1, it's a desperate situation for them. We can't be hopeful. If they can't get this pistol, Henry, it would be impossible. Nigh on impossible, but it is going to be JW to close it out. I won't say it is, but it is very much at this point.
Nope.
Well, that's true. 14-2. Liquid knows all about this score.
Exactly.
I knew you were going to... Yep. All right. You're right. I'm
so
sorry.
Don't ever lose faith. But...
My God, how the tables have turned.
It's going to be Dennis. He's actually one of the sickest pistol players in the entire planet, right? And he just showed you exactly why. Few players on his screen has landed 2 really crisp headshots once again. He seems to be the storyline for this map. He finds 2 headshots out of nowhere, and Liquid didn't really arrive, and they have to force by here, of course. 5 sets of head armor, Tech 9s, and 1 smoke. It's going to be an A-sided attack, presumably once again. Very similar setup, and just try and swarm their way onto the bomb sites. Having only flashbangs, though, that's a problem. And actually, considering the setup for Fnatic, they've gone for more of a utility-based play. 3 UMPs and an MP9. That actually kind of works out in terms of the run and gun potential against those Tech 9s. Let's see how this one does go down. You can see Dennis on your screen right now. He's got the M4. He's spotting towards the boost position. And once again, it's almost exactly from what we saw in the pistol. Hiko towards the squeaky door by himself. The smoke will go towards highway. There's no flashes this time to work with, so let's see where this works out.
It's flush it that's going to work back up. Single smoke, top of highway. Just go in front of that doorway, and these Tech 9s can't really bust through that. JW gets a nade kill onto Nitro. Make matters worse. Elige does get 1, but JW, 15 HP. Trying trying to be sneaky, caught off. It's a Dren that gets him. Now that gives them an opening. This should be at the very least a bomb plant for Liquid. And it is exactly that. 2 kits, one on Crims, one on Venton. Liquid's not going to overcommit to this. Actually, they do peek out trying to get a little bit of information because a Dren can't double stack toward that quad position without the boost. And they've already committed away from that, so instead Hiko comes over to support him. They are going to get aggressive, and it works out! It's headshots down toward mid, and 2 following that up.
So they do the exact same strategy we saw on the pistol round. This time, didn't even have flashbangs, but they make their way onto the site, find the headshots required to swarm the site. And it's going to be the 3rd round found by Liquid. I told you, Matt, it's happening.
All right.
And it's going to be... So. Okay, so this is where it's
literally the way it happened with them because they got eco'd after winning the pistol.
But now Fnatic are force buying. They're opening the window a little bit further, allowing them into the game. So if Liquid can find this one, it ruins the CT economy. We'll see how it what happens going forward here. It's going to be M4s and SMGs. Kusidis on that Tech 9. We're going to round number 18 here. CT is going to be playing a pretty default setup, 2-on-2. That's Liquid definitely don't want to give anything away just yet. They want to see if they can establish any sort of stacks or any potential aggression coming from the CTs, but not meant to be just yet.
There we go again. He goes out toward that doorway position. They'll enter on it. Down goes Kusta, though, as Dennis fires in through with the CZ75. He's going to get aggressive toward this forklift position as well, and with Elise on low HP, it's another... Oh, he follows up on Hiko as well. Dennis is going absolutely insane because it's down to just 1 player remaining, and it's Nitro Fallen.
Just to reiterate the point I made before, Dennis, one of the best pistol players in the world. He just gets 4 kills with the CZ, and what can you say about that one? 24-10 now. Dennis is playing out of his mind right now. It's a force buy from Fnatic. I normally would say you don't need to do that when you have such a massive lead. Just make sure you get the gun round to come in. You can just finish it there and then. But Fnatic, they don't subscribe to that mentality. They're going to be going all in here. And we're going to round number 19, potentially the last round here of the first map. It is a best of 3, so don't worry. Still more CS to come, but 4 rifles here and the Tech 9. So still a decent buy for Liquid. They get the first pick as well. Flusher drops to the hands of the Liege. And let's see what the reaction is from Fnatic. Will they be pushing towards B store? I see someone going towards the smoke.
JW's in there, but it's going to fade away. No, they're going to go late boost. So this is interesting because they've already had a little bit of contact over toward that A position, but haven't gotten far enough to check that spot or not. But where there is aggression, usually there's not a boost, because why would you peek through with no follow-up? It's going to be a Liege to take down Venton, though, down to 13 HP as he has to commit to that vent position. Nice splash onto Crims. That'll buy them some space. He still manages decent damage though onto a Liege, which now puts 2 players, the 2 entry, the 1-2 punch from Liquid, Nitro, and a Liege onto very low. But they're already in the site. That's the important aspect of this. Nitro has to cross over. All timing is everything. Yeah. Dennis looks away. That's going to allow the bomb plant to go in.
That could have been so huge. How do you find that kill? Like you said, the bomb dropped, and Liege just had about 10 HP or something to work with there. Still going to be a 3-on-4, and the CT's on the hard retake, but 2 very low terrorist players. This kill from JW, this is huge. We find this as an opening, but Liege does manage to take him down, and that should secure the round here as well. The CTs don't really have much to work with, no kits and no utility remaining. So just hoping they can just dent the economy of the terrorists right now, but we'll be fading out of the round as Liquid fighting in round number 19, staying alive here. We do feel like it's delaying the inevitable almost, but still, I guess getting warmed up in this best of 3, making sure you can start finding some kills, boost the confidence a little bit, get the morale a little bit higher. I guess it's slightly beneficial in that respect, but still, 11 rounds in a row required from Liquid just to force overtime.
Yeah, that's big.
It's rough.
That's one way of putting it.
Well, they did save 2 rifles for Fnatic. They saw them force by before.
Well, they're going to bring up pistols around, but at the very least, we've already got a Deagle on a Flush and a CZ on Venton.
So a little bit more conservative for Fnatic this time. They want to make sure they can have actual gun round in the next couple. Dennis and Crims still going to be very deadly here. It's that fast mid-aggression we talked about from Liquid coming in. There's a little boost coming in actually from the connector area. Taking, I was going to say considerable damage, doesn't matter that much. Liege gets the first kill, drops Flusher.
Crossing inside of the checker room to see what's going on in the back of the side. It's going to be Nate instead. Missed time though, and Liege, he actually gets taken down to very low, and again it's going to be Nitro and he that take out the most amount of damage. That allows Venton 1 kill, potentially a second, because the Liege is the one he confront immediately on the peak, and that's exactly what happens. Rooster thankfully finds the next 2 though. Liquid still have a foot toward the site. Dennis the last alive. Another situation where money as it sits with only going to be 1900 coming into them this time. Might be worth it to try and save this M4 I know, yes, they've got a lot of rounds to play on. Yes, they'll be able to buy again before the end, but still play the long game in this. And I think Dennis might just commit to this, you know.
We'll see what he can do, yeah. It's going to be pushing through the smoke here, trying to find anything he can. Just an opportunity, but Gusta shuts him down. Everyone facing at the same time. It's the correct way to do it from Liquid. And they don't have a single player in the 3 versus 1 situation. So the money now is still not stabilizing for Fnatic. So they're going to go for some upgraded pistols. Desert Eagles, CZs, and smoke on Flusher as well. This sort of round, I would assume maybe towards stack towards A or push towards the B storage, 3 people. They've actually gone for 4 HE grenades as well, so let's see what they decide to do with that. There's going to be 5 rifles here for Liquid, once again boosting up towards middle, trying to go for those early frags. And going to successfully take over this area as well.
Middle they may do, but to find the kills and get the information on exactly what Fnatic's up to, because right now it is going to be an A-side stack. Both Flusha, Dennis inside the site itself, and then Crims and JW playing from truck. They didn't really get a read on that. They didn't spot anyone. Nitro did go try and peek up toward Highway, but no one facing from Fnatic as he did so. Regardless, it's back over toward B, and this is the right call. I think they're going to end up figuring that out.
Yeah, you're right. As they edge their way in, contact play, taking this to 4 to be silent, don't give anything away until they spot a CT player here. They comes to play towards the bomb site, making sure they Molotov off the key positions, don't want to run into a potential stack on the site that's being a little bit too passive. Nitro pushes through the smoke here. It's a ballsy move, but gets away with it as well. They shut down the site, and now the retake coming in. Fnatic are going to take 5 threats towards middle here. First kill comes in at Liege, taking down Wenton. And you can hear some footsteps as well, so won't be taking his attention away from that vent just yet.
Touchdown. Nice catch, but needs to spike it back the other way. Takes a little bit of damage for that. The problem is that they're setting up on exits from both sides, so no matter which way they go, they're going to confront Fnatic. Regardless, though, the round done at that. Nitro starts to fade away from this. JW is coming in late, but no kits for me, no Ninja, no chance for it, and Elige is going to find him as well. Thankfully, they win out of these. Oh, I take it back, though. They lose 2. As Hiko and Adren both fall. I was going to say, thankfully, they're winning these duels and keeping the rifles up. They still get decent bank, obviously, but you want to keep your economy rolling as far as possible. I guess one and done anyway. It's on match point. But, I mean, still, even if you start to have closely contested rounds that chisel away, you can't bring up the utilities if they continue this momentum.
Well, we'll see how this one goes down. We have got the AWP on towards Dennis this time, which is a little bit interesting. It's on JW. We'll see what he's deciding to do. Maybe he had a very good spawn. Actually, he's going straight towards middle, watching for that fast boost, which Liquid are almost faint for at this point. They're going to be going for that one, so they'll be focusing towards the A side of the map there. There's going to be a push through the smoke from Elite. He gets taken down by Wenton. And a headshot towards Adren as well, so this round could be over now. And so it's going to be towards the A, where the bomb will be placed as well. And they'll be pushing through with these smoke grenades.
Nitro caught out, though, as he wants to bring up the flash. That allows a crossfire set from both JW and Flusha, who sees above the smoke bomb now drop. This has to be it for Fnatic. Inside of the site. Hiko's got vision of it. A second smoke toward the red crate, but it has a gap toward Truck as well that they need to be weary of. Shot from Hiko, finds Flusha. But he and Adren, both so low right now, have to be dead on with their peaks and timings. Hiko's going to plant that tight as well, not go for the open plant. Doesn't want to leave himself exposed to Truck. That means problems for Adren. He would have to face. And the flash was good enough to catch Dennis off and give Adren the chance, but he couldn't find the shot with the AK. So they may have information, but more importantly, for Fnatic, it's Venton that gets Hiko. It's down to 2 HP. It's Flash as well. They know exactly where he is. They'll just get on this. They'll stick this. 1 to face, 1 to stick. That's the game. Fnatic is going to take map 1, 16-6 against Team Liquid. They move to Mirage, and Liquid has to find an answer, but this was a quite convincing performance, I think, from Fnatic, especially where this is the first time you and I have seen them without Olaf Meister.
Absolutely, that was very convincing indeed. I think Dennis absolutely gets MVP for Cash. They're looking incredibly strong right now. That was Liquid's pick as well, so you feel like this could go from bad to worse for them, but I guess it's the first one with the best of 3, and maybe just warming up into things. You can see the second half was a little bit better. They get 4 rounds in the second after a 13-2 loss in the first, so something to build upon, I guess, if you want to build some storylines here. But yeah, Fnatic looking very dominant here on the first map, and one step closer to bringing themselves into those London finals.
Yeah, and that's the big goal here for Fnatic, having not topped the group. They were a little bit disappointed yesterday. I mean, NIP, they definitely outplayed them in a lot of ways. So It is a good step in the right direction, and definitely showing that the skill is everything on this team. I mean, Dennis, that was a masterclass performance.
Absolutely. With those pistols and there's the rifle play on the T side as well. Very impressive indeed. But I think that's going to be it from us for now until the second map. So I guess we'll take a quick break here. And don't go anywhere. It's going to get very exciting.
Looks like a little bit of a vintage Fnatic has arrived here on Cash, making things look easy versus Team Liquid in the first of the series. Welcome back to the Pro League Finals desk. I've got myself Yenko and I've got myself Blue to talk about this one. Gentlemen, did Liquid really struggle to get into that at the start? Let's kind of go chronological order where we saw like almost 8 rounds in the blink of an eye to Fnatic.
Liquid couldn't even get their foot into this game, basically. Fnatic came out all guns blazing, won the pistol round, and from that point on, it was the nightmare scenario that we mentioned sometimes in CS, that whenever Liquid actually won a round, they would lose a lot of their players. Fnatic would immediately win the following round, reset their money system, Liquid would be forced to eco or even double eco, and at that point, you know, it was 8-1, and even when they have all the guns, sometimes Fnatic still outplays them because it's Fnatic, right? So a terrible first half for Liquid. Great play from Fnatic all around. All of the players were on point. Dennis was maybe the first among equals, so to speak. But yeah, pretty unfortunate for Liquid.
I mean, I do want to remind everyone that we talked about, you know, Fnatic Cloud9 as a potentially close game, and then coming back to this one. Suddenly we have a bit more faith in Fnatic, and it's evidence in their play that these guys definitely have got quite a lot to prove in this current kind of affair.
I mean, it's always just the question of like which Fnatic was going to show up, however, because we know they've been in dominant form in the past, and obviously, I mean, you mentioned it before that, you know, if a good Fnatic shows that they're still going to just, for the most part, just wreck over top of Liquid, and we basically saw that. You said, and we've seen this many times in the past, that map can end up being Nitro's playground. Well, essentially, Dennis comes into that match and kicks Nitro off the monkey bars.
It was a playground, but in that playground there were a lot of bullies around that you know, didn't make it so fun for Nitro to play.
Dennis
basically
just turned his hat backwards and just started like being on kids, North American kids specifically. But
savage.
I'm sorry, I got a little bit brutal there. But what I was trying to say was that we talk about Fnatic's kind of well, we say drop in form. There's reason for that, right? Like, they've fallen off online. We've seen so much frustration. They've been conceding losses to FaZe, Virtus Pro. You know, the list goes on, where they've been encountering these problems, losing to teams that they don't think they should lose to. Liquid is probably on that list as well. And I'm sure, you know, should things start going the other way, the emotions of Fnatic, you know, previously, Mr. Vigilant, Mr. Unfazed, that could maybe be a card that Liquid could start playing as we go into our second map.
Yes, but you also need to remember that Fnatic is probably out for blood since, you know, Liquid beat them at the major and took that higher seed from them as well. So I think I said that if Liquid is going to have a chance in this match, they would have to win Cash. They got completely demolished, and right now it's going to be even harder for them on Mirage, I feel.
Yeah, it could just be more of the same. Anything left on Cash before we do take a quick break, Blue?
I mean, we saw a good performance. Excuse me. We saw a good performance. Almost choked.
Almost choked. Just like Liquid. That's the North American in you
there
coming
you go.
out.
Nice one.
The big boy Fnatic right here.
So we saw a good performance out of Adren in that matchup again, but unfortunately, like I said before, it was just no one else really showing up to the party. Adren had these huge clutches and some pretty good setups too, but with no one else really being able to follow that up with closeouts, it just did not allow for that team to really pick up anything substantial at all. Brawling a little bit forward in the second half, but ultimately, when you're down that far, there's zero chance of you coming back, especially against a team like Fnatic. With that kind of a lead, they're always going to punish that and close out pretty quickly.
And good to see, I mean, just the final cherry on top. Good to see Wenton, or Venton if you're Sadikist, you know, doing his best. Didn't you know Sadikist got a little bit of Swedish blood, just enough to have to make that W of V. So we're going to be coming back to more of Sadikist speaking Swedish and more of the score as well. You can check it out on your smartphone device. It's actually worth checking out, especially if you actually have to go outside. I know this is a kind of strange premise to some of us, myself included, but if you actually are out and about, and you know, the girl you're talking to, she says, hey man, do you know the score in the current ESL Pro League finals? You can go, yes, because I have the Pro League score on my phone. Messed that one up a little bit. Let's take a break so I can get better for the next one, because it is going to be time to talk about our second map, Mirage, after this.
Typical you talking with girls, Alex.